So we are on to the boiler. And you'll see pretty quickly when you open the boiler, you've already got all of this regulator set up within the boiler, minus the handle. And that's because it needs to be set up properly for testing of the boiler. So that's in there. And you also already have your lagging and your ceramic lagging on the boiler too. So this is how it comes to you. And we've got to look at adding in all of these parts bit by bit. So yeah.
We've got blow down valve, that's the top for the dome. These are fire door parts and clips. That's the boiler filler blank. That's a blank for the bush on the back if you have an injector. And there's the regulator handle. So we can start to assemble some of these parts and fit them to the boiler.
Excellent.
We've had a quick pre-assembly on the fire door. So there's the door with its hinge bolts. That's the latch. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a set in this latch. It's easier to grab hold of if it's sticking out a little bit. So you're going to open it and close it like so. We'll want a spot of sealant on these bolts because they want to operate but not come loose. Then we've got the clips. These clip into the fire door. So they sit either side of the fire door like that. And then the longer screws go through those holes into the little clip.
Excellent. If you do that, I shall do this cover on the top of the dome. This is sided, you can see, it's drilled and tapped. And that's for the top. So what I'll do is I'll run some silicone around here and I'll put that on top of the boiler and we'll squeeze that up as well. If you want to square it up, all you do is you undo these two bolts. You can actually shift it inside the...
So
okay.
There are the two clips, and it means the fire door goes on. It's adjustable and there's no holes into the boiler at all. It just simply clips on.
And all I've done is a bit of silicone on here, squeeze it all up, give it a clean off. So I think we're ready to start putting some more bits on. So we've got the check valve blank down here. If you wanted to add an injector or another form of getting water into the boiler, there's a blank there for you. Andy's been messing around with this regulator, just making sure it feels nice and smooth. It was actually designed, so can you see the steam take off through that hole? I don't know if you can see that. Through there is a steam take off. You can put a little spot of oil directly down into that regulator by taking out the front safety valve.
You can adjust the position of the handle so you get the off position on the regulator in the right place. It wants to be about there and closed.
About 90 degrees.
And as you open it, the engine will start to go. Okay. And you're driving in that sort of segment. Okay. We'll leave it there to get the water gauge on.
Okay, so that actually completes page 12. Yeah. Also, because your kit comes to you with the regulator in place, ceramic and the lagging sheet, you don't get to do anything on 12.1 or 13. That's all done for you.
Already there, waiting to go.
Yeah, straight to 14. So we've got the superheaters, which we're getting into position.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the boiler fittings. So we've got safety valves, turrets, whistle valve, pressure gauge, water gauge, and the blow down. So, oh, and even the check valves going on as well. So, yeah, all right, we'll get all those parts together. So while Andy's fitting up turrets and other bits on one end, I'm going to be working the superheater on the other. This looks nice and simple. It's just got 3 stainless bolts and also a little O-ring that goes onto it. slides neatly into position. So I'll get that all set up. And Andy's working on the turret, which has whistle valve on one side.
Yeah, we've got the whistle valve here, so that'll go in like so. We'll put a blank on the front, and then we've got a take-off fitting here, which is the pipe down to the blower valve. As the blower valve and the bypass valves are mounted low down on the back of the boiler.
Oh yeah. Excellent. And I'm assuming somewhere in here you've got the water gauge as well, have you?
Yes, water gauge also.
Oh, I
and
see.
the pressure gauge.
Yeah, pressure gauge siphon. Yeah. Excellent. All right, well, we'll start building. The water gauge is quite complicated, but it does make sense. So you've got this little banjo on the top, and then you've got the thread, then you've got the screw threads that hold it tight to this metal, and then for the glass itself, which will go into the fitting, the glass slides through, then you've got to put your O-rings and your little lock nuts on. So this will actually end up going this way up on the loco. Andy's put the banjo for the pressure gauge on there.
Yeah, so this has got a couple of sealing washers, and it just screws straight into the top of the boiler there, and it's also got its pipe work for the pressure gauge.
So yeah, once he's got that in place, that's how the top of the water gauge starts to go on.
Yeah. Looks as though that probably should have a little.
I see it, a tiny little lock nut.
There's a little lock nut on that one.
Yeah. So we'll put the banjo on.
Let's get this one on.
Yeah,
first.
get it on there tight, and then we'll start building this water gauge.
Yeah.
So it's got the pressure gauge on, which is good. And we've also found the little locking nuts.
Yeah, we've got a lock nut on that one.
Yep.
So we can thread him in for a start. Because of the lock nuts, these are adjustable.
Yeah,
so
good.
we can get them in and out to line
You'll
up.
have to unscrew this one,
Yeah.
because that one obviously needs to be screwed into the boiler.
There's the bottom fitting.
What you have to do with water gauges is try to get them as parallel as you can, because as soon as you tweak them up to tighten them, you crack the glass if they're not absolutely parallel. So we'll wind them in till we think we're about right, then we'll put something down from the top fitting to the bottom and just see how it is. Doesn't look too bad, does it?
It wants to go into the boiler a bit further.
A little bit further. See if we can find something that's a good circumference. Wrong way up there, I think, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want to strain it.
Yeah, that's
No.
right. Just have a little look. See how parallel we are. That looks pretty good. I think the top one needs to wind in one as well. Just
okay.
slightly up on the top. Yeah, let's try again. I'm just looking for how parallel it is to the back end of the boiler. Looks pretty good actually.
Yeah.
I think we're probably all right. So we'll lock the lock nuts up. You'll have to undo the little lock nut on there. place.
Nearly. I have to get my big file out again.
No. Definitely don't get a big file.
These in. That part also needs to go on.
Okay, that's looking good.
Yeah, so this metal bracket here holds the fitting in place so it doesn't move around and crack the glass.
Let's see.
So as long as we've got the alignment correct in the first place, we should be good.
Yeah, there's this lock in that as well.
And there's this little banjo bolt to go in the top.
You might have to do that, Mr. P. I can't do it single-handed. There we go. I'll get you to time those up.
Yeah, that started.
Well, don't forget you haven't got your glass in yet before you put that banjo in.
Yeah, it's not in tight,
Oh, good.
but it's holding those two fittings together in alignment,
Excellent.
so we know where we are.
Okay, so slightly different method to we're used to, but so we're going to go glass.
Yeah, we still need the O-rings and the nuts on there.
We certainly do.
So as that glass goes in, I put the top O-ring, then the nut, and the bottom nut, bottom O-ring, put the glass into the bottom fitting, see if we can get that nut to start. Got to really make sure the O-ring's right inside the nut, which I don't think it is at this stage. Let's have another go at that.
Can push it in with a scriber if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
Got a sharp edge there. See if you can just pop it inside.
Yeah, same again with the other one. Okay, try again. That one in, that one down. So, bottom one started. And then we're on the top one.
Yeah, so I think you've got to put that lock nut over first.
Yeah.
And this drops through the hole on top of the glass. You should lock that top one into position.
And the lock nut up. Then the top layer nut. These are all just finger tight at the moment. This one can come back round. And she's there. Just a case of running around and nipping all the bolts up.
Excellent. So the way the blowdown works, it has a little ball in it. It screws up inside the water gauge and works as a shut-off valve.
Yeah, so that's it screwing up. And then it has this little collar that goes on the bottom, and you adjust the little grub screws and the lever to open it. So it'll be closed there, you pull it round, opens, pull it back again. To get all the grub screws tight, you have to turn it all around, put this one in last, and then get the grub screws in place, tighten them up, get it in the closed position and put the handle in.
We probably won't do that now because this is very vulnerable. I think we'll leave that until the boiler's in the loco. We'll come back to that at a later date.
Yeah. So those parts will go in a bag.
Yep,
And
put
it's
them to
all
one
such time.
side. We've got check valves to put in. They're nice and simple. We shall put one of those in. 2 different sizes. Small on one side, large on the other. Pretty self-explanatory. And then I think we're almost there. So the way the check valve works, it's got a tiny stainless steel ball in here. It's a one-way valve. So you have it facing down, the ball falls into place, stops any of the steam coming out. So you've got to make sure you get them nice and parallel, then use the little locking nut to just lock them in place. And actually you can get to these when the loco is completely built, so you can come back and work on them if you need to. So once we've got all the parts on the boiler, we just loosened off this boiler band and we're just pre-fitting the smoke box into position. It's pretty tight, but it's got to go under the lagging. So you can get it nice and tight. So it's quite tight. This smoke box has got to fit under the lagging. So what we did was we opened up the boiler band and we just put a little bit of leverage just in this corner just to spread it enough so you could donk it into place. And then of course you can bring your boiler band back over, cover up any of the little scratches you might have done on that lagging sheet underneath the boiler lagging. Underneath the boiler band. So you've got to be careful when you pick that up and put that in. You don't want to pull it back out again because it's quite a hard thing to fit. So I think I'm going to do this nut back up on the boiler.
Yeah, tighten the boiler band up.
Tighten it all
clamp
up.
it.
Yeah.
We've got 2 holes here which are holding the front of the tank on, but we don't need to deal with those yet.
No.
We'll come on to them.
Yeah.
So let's just tighten up that boiler band.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm hoping that's in situ.
Yeah. Well, I think we're at a point we need to get that chassis back. So there's compression olives that hold the stainless steel superheater pipe to the steam pipe on the chassis. And the olives are little stainless ones here, they're split. The cone goes this way onto the fitting. And this little flat edged bit, I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little flat edge. That goes in here. So on the tube we go nut. Then we go with the split olive onto the tube. And then the cone onto the tube. And then we've got the same on the other side. We'll show you the other side once it's on the chassis. So I've nipped it up on this end. It's not easy to get a spanner in there, but you can just about manoeuvre it in. So I've tightened it on this end. And I think we'll make the 2 together and see if we can get the boiler onto this chassis. So we haven't fitted this fitting before. We're taking a guess at this, but we've managed to push the split olives up on the steel superheater pipe. Got it roughly where we think it needs to be. So when we mate the chassis and the other side of that, we'll see how this fitting is. At the moment, I'd say that's probably gone up about, what, 8 to 10 mil on that pipe. We'll let you know how we get on. So I'm going to do my best to just get this into position, see where we are with this stainless pipe versus the fitting. Try my very best not to scratch any of this paintwork or catch anything up on this reverser. But the boiler's not too heavy, you just don't want to crash into anything. I'll just pop the back in hold that into position. I'll see what's going on. So actually my steam pipe looks very good. Oh, and that pipe doesn't look too bad either. Well, surprise, surprise. That wasn't anything like as troublesome as I thought it would be. So my main blast pipe looks okay. I reckon I can bend that into position. And that 8mm, a little bit too long, just a little bit too long. I think I can just tap the olives down the stainless a little bit. I should be able to screw that on, make the two together. Anyway, it's pretty close. Good. That position's alright. Certainly over there. Yeah. I'm just looking at where the brackets hold the rear of the boiler into place. I think that looks pretty good. The positioning's actually ended up well. Let's see if I can drift these olives down a little bit. So maybe if you went something like 5 or 6mm up the stainless pipe, probably about enough. I'm sure I can force it down a little bit. Oh, actually that started just by forcing that pipe down. It's not going to be easy to get a spanner in there, so I might have to do it a flat at a time. I shall have a go at doing that up. This compression fittings work really well. You can just about get your spanner in there at the angle, and you just tighten that up. That seems to have gone up nice and tight. So the next step's going to be getting the screws in this smoke box, holding that to the saddle, and then yeah, we're on to the next stage. So once you've got the smoke box on, end on, then you screw your little brackets on here to hold down the boiler, and of course when you come around this side your bunker's in the way. So just a quick unbolt of the bunker, flip it up, making sure you don't scratch any of the paintwork, and then you can put your socket caps into place just to hold that boiler in. Now I managed to get the 4 socket caps inside here. You have to work through the chimney with an Allen key, but you can get to those. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it holds that nice and solid. There we go, and he's just putting this bunker back into position.
Yes, that should still maintain the valve adjustment as long as it all goes back the way it came off.
Excellent.